Thank you for joining me. And Copilot is everywhere. We couldn't do with Copilot. It's going to be just like our search engines like Bing and Google. Copilot is our future. So it will be part of every organization in our household. In fact, Copilot is everyone's personal assistant. And for me, it is my business partner. So let me formally introduce myself and cover what the agenda. And I'm going to turn off the camera. Okay. So today, just a little bit of information about me. Over 30 years of Microsoft as an end user and trainer in some type of capacity. 8 years ago, it was actually formalized. I was a user adoption trainer, IT support and analyst. In 2021, I launched my own business, Track Creation 4E, and extended my knowledge sharing in a training environment and across the social media platforms. That's how I met both Rookie and Timmy Dio on LinkedIn. I'm also a second year MVP and much more. You can actually stay connected with me. My handle is pretty much consistent at Track Creation 4E. So it's a little bit of information about me. In this session, I'm going to introduce you to Copilot. I'm going to cover what is Copilot, who it is available to, and how to use it. I will give you a brief overview of prompting, which is how you ask Copilot for assistance. Back in the day, we would say junk in, junk out, or think about Copilot if you was hiring a intern or an assistant. You would develop ongoing working relationship with them and guide them on how to implement the work so they can do it independently. And that's what Copilot is. So understanding the proper way to achieve your Copilot output is going to be important. And then we will complete a demonstration showcasing how Copilot is your personal assistant or business partner by drafting or summarizing and analyzing your work to help minimize your work effort. So what is Copilot? I think of Copilot like in 3 pillars. Copilot understands the context and your needs by analyzing your data that you have access to. So like your documents, emails, chats, meetings, and people that you interact with. So you can gain personal insights and real-time monitoring of your workload. Second, Copilot actually transforms how you work. It uses powerful search capabilities. On the techie side, it uses natural language processing with the large language model known as LLM. And LLM is just a huge reference library of your stuff. It checks the security before processing and suggesting responses, which may include the reference link. So if you need to fact check it, because you need to do that, you can easily do so. And then the third is just the bottom line. Copilot offers key capabilities that ultimately optimizing work efficiency by enhancing engagement, streamlining your communications, and improving your productivity. It's been said on record that, people are saving it's like 13 times faster getting things done. I remember when Copilot rolled out originally, Microsoft was saying 3 times faster, and some testimonials are saying even more than that. Copilot is available to everyone in some capacity. Usually, I always say celebrities or the executives have personal assistants. Now, everyday people like you and me, and even executive assistants can have one too. You must purchase a Copilot license to your existing subscription if for the enterprise E3 and 5 business standards and for the schools, it is about $30 a month in US dollars. In my opinion, that's cheap labor for getting things done faster. They also have Copilot Pro. It's available to individuals and family plans. The cost is $20 per month. It does pretty much what the work and school account does, but at a personal level. And then you have the free version of Copilot through Microsoft Edge and Bing. So you can actually get started with Copilot today. Microsoft takes security seriously. Azure keeps the company's data private based on a need-to-know basis. Copilot responses are generated from the data that you have access to. So if you don't have access to employee salaries, even if you ask about it, you will not get it. It will not be reflected in your responses. But it's important that proper content sharing is carefully structured in OneDrive and SharePoint, because that's where Copilot is pulling your information is from OneDrive, SharePoint, and external web if the organization has that enabled. So I had to actually move files from my local and external drive to OneDrive so I can benefit from using Copilot. Copilot for Microsoft 365, each application will have its own predefined prompts, which is native to that application. So for an example, if you are in Excel, that you would get prompts only relating to Excel. And if you needed to go to Copilot's homepage, which they're now calling it Biz Chat, or to the Copilot lab, you can get additional prompts that will go across all Microsoft 365 ecosystem. But today, I'm just going to focus on few of the Office applications. So it's everywhere. I want to take a few minutes and just kind of give you some of the importance on how to create a good prompt. Microsoft suggested 4 components. And the first one is just state the goal. Describe what you want what Copilot to do. Do you want create a mentor program? Do you want to invite someone to a meeting? Do you want to create an email? So just tell it what you want it to do. The next thing you want to do is provide some context around it. Whatever relevant information that you can give, state your who you are with your title and what role that you're playing, what purpose, what is the purpose, specify situations, who is the audience, right? And any additional facts that you can provide to get that first good first draft. Expectation, this is where you want to provide what type of format. Do you want it in a table? What are the columns headers that you want to include? Do you want it in bullet points? What type of writing style and tone? How long do you want your output to be? You provide those expectations. Because what happens is it gives you information. You're just like, oh, well, I wanted that in a bullet format. Well, if you tell Copilot that, it would give it to you. And then the next piece is if you have any existing resources, Word documents or, emails you wanted to reference, Excel documents, you can actually provide up to 3 files that you wanted to reference. You can also state something like, pull industry standards from Harvard Business Review, which is also a highly respected global publication. So you can do that as well. And then I add the 5th one. Microsoft didn't have this part of their recommendation. give feedback. If Copilot really missed the mark, it's getting better because people used to say Copilot is hallucinating, but now it's getting better. But give them the feedback, as well as if there is a prompt that is not available right now that align with your workflow or processes, let them know. Hopefully it makes the cut. I have like 2 on my wish list right now. Okay. All right. So I wanted to just give you a brief overview what Copilot is. I want to get started because I have a lot to show you to make you a believer that Copilot is your business partner or personal assistant. Okay. I want to go to Microsoft Edge. Because Copilot, like I said, is everywhere and you can get to it easily. So from Microsoft Edge, in my taskbar, I see the icon here. I also see it in the search bar. And if I click on this, and depending on my profile, I want to make sure this is on my personal profile because I can also get to my work and school, and I'll do that in a second. But from my personal profile, I can now come in here and add a prompt. I can also click on the Bing chat Copilot icon as well. Just so you know, should you click on the Bing, whatever profile that is active, it will, sync. These two would sync. I can't have my work or school account and personal account. They have to actually coincide with one another. But I wanted to show you the difference between Google or Bing search engine from Copilot. If I wanted to go to Bing and say, what is the recipe for Mexican cornbread? We always make Mexican cornbread on September the 30th in memory of my mother-in-law. So let's put that in there. What happens, I'm going to put that same prompt. Where is it? I'm going to add that same prompt over here in Copilot, so you can see the difference. The difference is when you do it in Bing or Google, you're getting reference to multiple locations to actually have to click on it to see the recipe, whereas Copilot is responsive. It's just giving you the recipe. So you're saving time right there. I always say over here, you're app hopping or source hopping to get to your answer. And then you actually have to compile all this information to get to one. So I always like to show people the difference between the search engine and Copilot. So let me close this. I'm going to switch to my school work account. When I'm in my school work account and I'm click on Copilot, notice I have 2 tabs here. I have a web tab, so if I know I'm really looking for something from the web, it's here. If I click on work or school, this is now considered biz chat, right? Because I want to now generate responses that's dealing with my work, my everyday to work. So I want to introduce you. Here, you're going to have a bunch of predefined prompts that is going to be available to you. You can actually input your own, and I'll do this a little later on. You'll see this in action a little later. I can review more prompts based on, do I want to catch up? Do I want to learn something new? Do I want to ask something? And it gives me some predefined ones until you are comfortable with coming up with your own. I can see all prompts under the Copilot Lab. And now I can choose, what app am I working with? I can choose what task that I want Copilot to perform. And they also have it grouped by based on department, industry, and under educational. So again, when you first start using Copilot, you're not sure what to do. Here's one that says recap a meeting or stay informed based on any emails that I received from Timidio. So again, this is just a way for you to start getting familiar with the prompts that are available to you. See if I can go back. Okay, let's close this. So let's see this in action. I'm in Outlook. And let's set the stage. Let's say that Timmy Dio asked Rookie to start a IT youth mentor program. And Rookie says, okay, but I'm not quite sure where to start. So I'm going to invite Adele to help me co-lead. So notice Copilot is in multiple places. I have it from the top to draft an email. I can ask for coaching. And you also have it here. When you click on Copilot from the left navigation, it's going to take you back to Biz Chat, and it's only going to focus on the prompts for Outlook. But let's draft this as Copilot to help me with this prompt. And sake of time, I pasted it in here. One of the things that I do, um, starting off with Copilot, making sure that I have my goal, context, expectation, etc. I've added this in my template. So I just take a look at it here just to remind me to give Copilot some really good information before I run it. Because before people would say, Copilot is missing the mark. Well, you're not giving it enough information. So here I'm just saying I want an invitation letter. It's about IT mentoring program. I always like to state my role, in this, and what I would like for it to do. So let's just generate it, because I don't want to just read it to you. Give it time to process. So Copilot gave me my first draft. I go through and read this. Yes, this looks pretty good. I see some program topics being suggested because I asked Copilot to do that because I didn't even know where to start. And if I like this, I can keep it. Or I can come in here and say, you know what, make this more professional. And I'm going to have it to generate again. And it gives me another version of it. Okay, notice here, it's either I can look at the first option or the first draft that it gave, or I can look at the second draft, and we just will keep it. So that's great. The other thing that Copilot would do, think about it in the real world. If we were writing this out ourselves, we would say, hey, would you take a quick look at this and make sure that it reads okay? Copilot is your assistant and would help you with that with the coaching by Copilot. So it's going to look at that information. It's going to look at the tone and provide me with some suggestions. Right now, if they offer something, replace it with this. Coming soon, we're going to be able to select these and update it itself automatically. But right now, you have to copy and paste it. But nevertheless, I can look over here over this information and determine if I want to make some modifications to my original email. That's really nice. And I'm going to close that. Okay. And let's say we sent it. I am going to go to the inbox. Let's say that, okay, for this IT professional mentor program, I'm going to open up the email. I've been in meetings for the last 2 or 3 days, and I want, instead of looking at it, each email and each response, I can get a summary. So I click on the summary, get the highlights from it. Notice that it gives me the reference. So if I want to look at that email, the entire email, I can do that just by clicking on that reference.